here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Today we have in this room men who have shown extraordinary courage, where the word extraordinary is a much abused term. Courage for which their country has recognised them, and I also include in that the Chief of Army, General Morrison, who has also shown courage, great courage in his leadership of the Army. But courage comes in different forms. We have placed so far on the Roll of Honour for Afghanistan the names of 39 Australian men, and we will possibly and certainly will be adding another one. And we quite rightly as a nation commemorate their lives, their sacrifices for us, and we will commemorate one of those again this evening in the form of Robert Pote at our last post ceremony. But what is given much less attention in this country is that there are close to 300 men and women who have returned from the Middle East area of operation who have been wounded, who have been injured, and many more who carry the psychological consequences of their deployment in our uniform, in our name, and under our flag. Our country can be very proud of what we do and we have done for our veterans, but there's more that we can all do. And it's my great privilege to introduce to you the Chief of Army, Lieutenant General David Morrison, who will speak to you about Soldier On. Thank you.
Well, I would like to say welcome to the recipients of the Victoria Cross and the George Cross first and foremost, and make a point that there are 9 living recipients of the Victoria Cross around the world. 4 of them are with us today to launch the medallions that recognise valour and gallantry, and the proceeds of which will go towards helping those who have been injured, mentally or physically, in the service of their nation. So to Ben, to Mark, to Dan, to Keith and to Michael, I would like to say thank you very much for being here and for giving of your time to support this wonderful cause. Look, it is a real honour to be here. There is a great deal that has been done by the soldiers, the sailors, the airmen and women of the ADF during the last 12 years of operational service. They are simply those following in the footsteps of men and women who have served before them, some of whom have been injured both mentally and physically in the service of our nation. The recognition of that starts at the government and the national level in Australia. And the government has been appropriately generous in what they have provided by way of resources to care for those who have suffered in the service of the nation. Nonetheless, beyond the government and beyond the Defence Force, there is always opportunities for other organisations to form or step forward to assist. One of the foremost of those organisations is Soldier On. It is relatively new, but it is one of the most dynamic of the organisations that we see in Australia. There are a number of initiatives that have been put in place by Soldier On to provide support to those who have been injured. And I'd like to thank John Bale, who's the CEO of Soldier On, and to all of those who are connected with the organisations and say, keep up the great work. We are the grateful recipients of the support that you're providing. Now, the medallions that are going to be offered to the public, the proceeds of which will go wholly to Soldier On, recognise the service, the bravery and the valour of the 5 men who have joined us here this afternoon. Their images are displayed on those coins. There are replicas of the Victoria Cross and the George Cross, and they will be there to recognise, as their inscription says, the service in the service of others, valour and gallantry. Now, to conclude this launch, of which I am honoured to be a part, I am going to present not award, the medallions to each of those who have offered so generously of their time. And in doing so, I launched this medallion to support those who have put service before self. Thank you very much for asking me to be a part of this.